Hello, dear student.
Have you ever stopped to think about the world around you? I mean, really think about it? Well, today we're diving into the secret story behind almost everything you see and touch: organic chemistry. Now, I know, it sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, it's not just about labs and complicated formulas. It's the chemistry of life itself, and you're living it every single second. So let's get into it.
Okay, take a look at this stuff. You've got plastic, the fuel that runs our cars, even medicines and sanitizers. I mean, they couldn't seem more different, right? But believe it or not, they are all deeply connected by one single fundamental ingredient. Any ideas what that might be?
So here's our game plan. We're going to uncover that secret ingredient that makes up the chemistry of your daily life. Then, we'll figure out why carbon is basically the ultimate builder. After that, we'll learn how to speak the language of molecules by decoding their names, unlock the incredible power of something called functional groups, and finally, we'll see how it all starts with crude oil and ends up in the products you use every day.
Right, let's jump straight in. First up, the chemistry of your daily life. It's time to solve the mystery of what connects all those things we just saw. And the answer, the absolute hero of our story today, is carbon. Yep, this one single element is the backbone of a nearly endless variety of things that quite literally shape our modern world.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all. Organic chemistry is, simply put, the study of these amazing carbon-based compounds. It's the science that gives us everything from life-saving medicines to the very materials that make up our phones and our clothes. It's huge. So, that brings up a really big question. Why carbon? Out of all the elements on the periodic table, what makes this one so special? Let's take a look at why it's nature's absolute favorite, the ultimate building block.
You know, the magic is all in how it connects with other atoms. I want you to think of a carbon atom as the ultimate Lego brick. Seriously, it has 4 little connection points, which means it can form 4 incredibly strong and stable bonds. This one special trick lets it build long chains, complex rings, and all sorts of amazing structures that other elements just can't pull off.
And here it is, our very first, most basic building block. This is methane. It's the simplest organic molecule that exists. See, it's just one carbon atom bonded to 4 hydrogen atoms. This is ground zero, the starting piece for everything else.
So, what happens when we click 2 of those carbon Legos together? Well, we get this: ethane. You can see how that carbon-carbon bond forms a little backbone, and all the other open spots are filled up with hydrogen. We've officially started building a chain. Let's add one more, just for fun. And now we have propane, a 3-carbon chain. I guarantee you already know this one. It's the fuel that powers backyard barbecues and heaters. See that? In just 3 simple steps, we've gone from a single tiny brick to a super useful fuel. Now, these simple chains of carbon and hydrogen, we call them hydrocarbons. They come in 2 main flavors. First, you've got saturated ones, or alkanes. They only have single bonds between carbons. Think of them as being completely saturated or full. They're holding as many hydrogen atoms as they possibly can. Then you have the unsaturated ones, like alkenes and alkynes. These guys have at least 1 double or even a triple bond, which means they have fewer spots for hydrogen to attach. Okay, with literally millions of possible carbon compounds out there, how in the world do chemists keep track of them all? Well, they developed a universal language, and now it's our turn to start decoding some of these molecular names.
The whole system is called IUPAC. It stands for the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. It's basically a rule book that gives every single organic molecule a unique logical name based on its structure. This is so important because it gets rid of any confusion and makes sure a scientist in Tokyo knows exactly what a scientist in Toronto is talking about. It's like a universal translator for chemistry.
In this table right here, this is like the alphabet of that secret code. The name of every molecule starts with a stem that tells you how many carbon atoms are in its main chain. So 1 carbon is meth, 2 is eth, 3 is prop, and so on down the line.
The basic rules are actually pretty simple. First, you find the stem name based on how many carbons there are. Then you just add an ending, a suffix, ane for all single bonds, ene for a double bond, and yene for a triple bond. And if you have one of those double or triple bonds, you just pop a number in front to say where it is on the chain.
And this right here shows you exactly why that little number is so critical. Look at these 2 molecules. They both have 4 carbons, so their names start with but.
And they both have one double bond, so they end in -ene. But they are totally different molecules. The one on the left with the double bond right after the first carbon is but 1-ene. The one on the right with the bond after the second carbon is but 2-ene. That name tells you the molecule's exact blueprint. It's so clever.
Okay, so we get it. We can make chains of carbon. But how do we get from simple chains to the incredible variety of substances we see all around us? This is where the real magic happens. Let's talk about the awesome power of functional groups.
A functional group is like a special accessory you snap onto that carbon chain. It's just a small group of atoms, but it completely changes the molecule's personality. It determines how it's going to act, how it's going to react. It literally gives the molecule its function.
For example, let's go back to our simple ethane chain. If we just pull off one of those hydrogens and swap in an OH group, that's one oxygen and one hydrogen, bam! We've just created a totally new kind of molecule, an alcohol. Specifically, we've made ethanol, which you know as the active ingredient in hand sanitizers.
So what if we use a different accessory? If we attach this group, a COOH group, to our carbon backbone, we get a carboxylic acid. Ethanoic acid, for example, is the molecule that gives vinegar that sharp, tangy taste and smell. See? A different functional group creates a completely different substance. And this is where it gets really, really cool. These functional groups can actually react with each other. When an alcohol and a carboxylic acid get together, they combine to form a brand new type of compound called an ester. And esters are famous for one thing: their incredible smells. You know that sweet scent of bananas, or pineapples, or pears? That's all thanks to different ester molecules. Amazing, right?
So we can build all these amazing carbon molecules by making chains and adding functional groups. But where do we get all those carbon building blocks to begin with? Well, for most of modern industry, that journey starts deep underground with crude oil. Crude oil, or petroleum, is this rich, messy mixture of all sorts of hydrocarbons with chains of all different lengths. Through a process called fractional distillation, we can separate them out by size. The shortest, lightest chains, they become refinery gas for cooking. A little bit longer, and you get gasoline for our cars. Longer still gives us kerosene for jet engines and diesel for ships. And those really long, heavy chains, they become lubricating oils and the bitumen we use to pave our roads. Pretty much every fuel we use is just a specific size slice of that original crude oil.
So from the simplest methane molecule all the way to the complex medicines and materials that define our modern lives, it all comes back to carbon's unique ability to build. It truly is the ultimate Lego brick, creating the entire world around us. So the real question isn't just what carbon has built, it's what will we, using the rules of organic chemistry, build with it next.